I've watched buyers get incredibly close to owning a home in Hawaii and then get blindsided by something they never expected. Not because they were irresponsible, not because they had huge debt, not because they made reckless financial decisions. Sometimes it's because they had almost no credit history at all. Sometimes it was because they tried helping someone they cared about. And what makes these situations hard is a lot of good people end up feeling like home ownership suddenly moved further away, when really they just needed a different plan. So today I want to talk about credit because I think people misunderstand this part of the process more than almost anything else. Aloha everyone, this is Kainoa KJ Harrison with Team Wong Hawaii. And honestly, this can be one of the most emotional parts of my job sometimes because I've sat across from people who are hardworking, responsible, and genuinely excited about buying a home. You can feel it. They're imagining where their kids will play, thinking about finally having stability, thinking about creating something that actually feels like theirs. And then sometimes one conversation with a lender changes the entire timeline. Not because the dream disappeared, just because the path changed. And over the years, there are a couple of stories that really stayed with me. One situation involved someone who honestly did what most people would consider everything right. No major debt, responsible financially, worked hard, saved consistently. They were excited because they thought they were finally at the stage where they could start looking at homes. And then they spoke with a lender. And the conversation completely surprised them. They really didn't have enough established credit history yet. And I remember their reaction because they were discouraged. Not because they made a mistake, because in their mind they had done exactly what they were supposed to do. Stay out of trouble financially, avoid debt, be responsible. But what surprised them was learning that lenders are not just looking for whether you avoided debt. They're trying to understand patterns. Can they see consistency? Can they see history? Can they understand how credit has been managed over time? And sometimes having almost no credit history can actually create challenges. Not because someone did something wrong, because there simply isn't enough information there. So instead of immediately shopping for homes, we shifted gears. The goal became building a roadmap first. Building credit intentionally, creating history, putting a plan together, and I'll be honest, that required patience. Because when you're emotionally ready to move forward, hearing "not yet" can feel very heavy. And this is where I think people misunderstand credit. A lot of people think credit only affects whether you're approved. But credit can impact your loan options, your interest rate, your monthly payment, your flexibility, and ultimately what buying feels like financially month to month. Small habits can create big changes over time. Things like making payments consistently, keeping balances low, avoiding opening accounts right before buying, maintaining older credit lines. None of these things are exciting, but over time, they create a stronger financial profile. And in a market like Hawaii, where affordability already feels challenging, those details matter. But the second story really stuck with me too, because this involves someone with excellent credit, very responsible, always paid on time, the kind of person who genuinely took pride in doing things the right way. Then they decided to help someone that they cared about. They co-signed. And unfortunately, things didn't work out the way they hoped. Payments were missed, the account became a problem, and suddenly their credit score dropped dramatically, leaving them no longer in a position to qualify for a loan. What made it difficult emotionally was this wasn't someone being reckless. This wasn't someone making bad choices. This was someone trying to help somebody else. Sometimes people make decisions from a place of generosity, and sometimes those decisions have consequences nobody expected. That's why I always encourage people to start the conversations early. Not because you need to buy tomorrow, not because you should rush, but because clarity changes everything. I've seen buyers go from discouraged to homeowners. I've seen people embarrassed about their financial situation, eventually celebrating getting their keys. I've seen people completely convinced home ownership was impossible, realize they simply needed a strategy. Especially here in Hawaii, because buying here already feels emotionally and financially overwhelming enough. You don't need surprises late in the process. You need a roadmap early. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Please do not count yourself out too early. Just because your timeline looks different right now does not mean your dream is over. Sometimes people think they need perfection before they start. They need perfect credit, they need perfect finances, they need perfect timing, but most people don't start there. A lot of times the process starts with understanding where you are and building from there. Sometimes the journey simply starts with a conversation. If you're thinking about buying a home in Hawaii, even if you feel like you're not ready yet, this is actually the perfect time to start asking questions and learning what your next steps could look like. Our goal has always been helping people feel prepared, educated, and confident whenever the timing is right. And I love to hear from you. What surprised you most about credit during your home buying journey? Or what questions do you still have? Drop them in the comments. And if you want more Hawaii-specific home buying advice, make sure to subscribe. Mahalo for watching.